foyer, Otis asked eagerly, "May I look, Ma?" "If only you will not scrunch the paper. You know how your father hates a scrunched newspaper." Kneeling at a low table, Otis respectfully turned over the pages until she found the page with the columns of recently arrived hotel guests and boarding-house visitors. In order of peck, their own hotel, the Grand, with its prime position facing the Common and the sea, came first. She read aloud. Miss Lashbrook, Mrs. Preston Jones, Miss Unita Truscott, Miss Yosei Dubois. Oh, Ma, do you think she's French? Otis, do lower your voice. Even if Miss Dubois did not object to having her name shouted all over the hotel, there are others present on this terrace. Not everyone is interested in the visitors' lists. Otis gave her mother a look which Emily Hewetson recognized as very much like that of her husband's brother, Max. A knowing, teasing look. Of course they are interested, Mother. They pretend that they're looking at the lists merely to see who else is here, when what they're looking for is to see their own name in the newspaper. Emily Hewetson's only consolation in having an enthusiastic and lively daughter was that Otis might have been born a boy, who might well have been even more embarrassingly noisy. Otis read on. Lieutenant Bindon Blood. Ugh, Otis. Captain Bocket Pugh. Sir Douglas and Lady Brownrigg. And look, here it is, Ma. Martin Hewetson, Esquire. Mrs. Hewetson. And look, Ma, and Miss Otis Hewetson. Otis smiled at the fame of Miss Otis Hewetson, who had in previous years been and daughter. Miss Otis Hewetson. Well, Ma, I am now a real person. There is compensation for being almost 17. You may well be right, Otis, but I have yet to discover any evidence of it. There are times when you run away with yourself and behave as though you were 8 years old. Otis's feelings about her age fluctuated. There were times when she wished to be calm and elegant, to not speak loudly and to remember her manners. But mostly she loved to leap and dash and run and to show her enthusiasm for things. Fortunately, the girls' school she attended was run by a woman who appreciated a girl of Otis's enthusiasm and love of learning, and she had gathered about her teachers of her own kind. Otis had no experience of other schools, so took this coterie of unusually broad-minded teachers for granted. The choice of this school for his daughter was that of Martin Hewetson, a liberal-thinking father. To blot out the rest of her mother's lecture, Otis ran her eye down the other lists of summer visitors to the lesser hotels and boarding-houses. Her heart leapt, but she managed to take control of her voice before she uttered, "Look, Ma," and jabbed her finger at a column which listed visitors who had taken a private residence for the season. "It's them! Oh, Ma, how wonderful! Who would ever have expected such a coincidence? May I call on them? Well, will you call on them? Could you do it today?" The urgency in her daughter's voice did not strike Emily Hewetson as anything out of the ordinary. Otis wanted every request or scheme of hers to be put into practice then and there, at once, today. Emily Hewetson considered herself to be a most understanding and patient parent, modern in her outlook and allowing a freedom that would not have been permitted in her own day. Putting her theory into practice, she inclined her head in order to see where the rudely jabbing finger pointed, and saw, at Garden Cottage, Sussex Road, Southsea, Inspector and Mrs. George Moth, Mr. John Moth, Miss Esther Moth. Otis scanned her mother's face for a sign that she had mellowed or forgotten the moth episode at Bognor. She had not. "I know what you're thinking, Ma, and you may be right that the moths are not really our sort, but I think no such thing. Mrs. Moth was a Claremont, and even if she were not, I should like to meet the person who could say that I am not the freest and easiest of social person. I have no time for snobbery. All I ask of any person old or young is that they have mannerliness." Well, you can't really blame Jack and Esther for not